Hi everyone, I'm Diana Palm of DianaPalm.com, and I've got an interesting little story today about a haunted car that heals grief. In 2010, my ex-husband and I had purchased a really cool black Mustang. The entire time that we owned it, the lights actually didn't work. So we only drove it during the day. We had the car for a short amount of time. Of course, we planned on getting it fixed, but we didn't own the car as long as we thought we were going to. When it came time to sell the car, my husband had a very interested buyer, but the lights were still not working. The gentleman who was coming to look at the car was literally en route, driving to our house, and the lights were still not working. The blinkers wouldn't go, the brake lights wouldn't go, and so he literally tore apart the dash. He took apart the light switch panel. He was trying to fix everything he could mechanically in a hurry as the gentleman is driving to our house. So at the time I said, would you like me to go out and see if there's a spiritual reason that the car's not working properly? And of course, even though he was my husband, he laughed. Well, that's probably why he's my ex-husband. Anyway, he laughed at me. He was fed up, he was frustrated, he was hot, he was stressed out and worried. So I did finally go sit in the car. He had to take a break. And so while he was inside the house taking a drink of water, I sat inside the car, closed my eyes, connected with Creator, and made the commands to heal the car and to clear any spiritual energies off of the car, not knowing for sure if this would work or not, but what the heck, nothing else was working. So as it turns out, I was in the car for about 15 seconds and got up and left to go back inside the house. When my husband came back out, instead of going back and trying to fix it mechanically, he thought, I'm gonna give it a start and see if the lighting works, just in case. Well, wouldn't you know, the lights worked. All the blinkers worked, left, right, the brakes, all the lighting worked. When the gentleman showed up to purchase the car, everything worked beautiful. The car drove fantastic. And of course he bought it and was so happy to have it. So after the sale, my husband and I were discussing the situation with the car, and I had to find out who he had purchased the car from. He began to tell me the story about a man who lost his wife. The gentleman who my husband had bought the car from had a wife that was in a long-term illness. And one of the things she said to him before she passed was, use some of the insurance money to buy yourself a toy. And she knew that all he ever wanted to have was a muscle car. So upon her passing, it's one of the things that he did to try to engage in life and try to enjoy himself. And he really wanted to honor his wife's wishes. So he went and spent some money on a really amazing muscle car. It was gorgeous, a black, gorgeous Mustang. And so he really had fun driving that. And as he worked through his grief, 3-4 years later, all of a sudden he didn't really feel like he needed the muscle car anymore. He was ready to do something different in his life, and his grief had literally lifted. He had been healed. So when I told my husband that I had cleared a female spirit from the car, we knew exactly who it was, because as she passed, she attached herself to her husband's new vehicle so that she could be there with him and give him that incentive to move through the grief and that incentive to live life again and to enjoy himself and do something special. And it was just that time frame where he had moved through his grief, but she was still attached to the car. So I urge you to pay attention to your cars if you're having some strange mechanical issues, and if you know who you bought it from, if the people you bought the car from had a loss of a family member, or if it was involved in an accident, make sure that you're doing your spiritual clearing on the vehicles. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.